And we're live.
Hey, I'm back.
You're back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
Where were you
Up
last
here in
week
the,
again?
I was flying.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
Thursday night I was flying
You
up.
were literally in the air, I think, when we were doing the
Yep.
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it feels like haven't done one of these in a while because the week before that was Game Awards, so that didn't really count.
Yeah, I was saying last week that I barely remembered the Game Awards because even though I was telling you I'm starting to feel better, I was still kind of in a fever dream. Like I was still pretty
Oh,
sick.
okay.
But yeah, the Game Awards were fun. That was a good time overall, I would
Yeah,
say.
I enjoy watching them for sure. Yeah, and it was long. It was like 4 hours. That was a long time.
It was a long time. Yeah.
But John's not here. All of a sudden, he went to Florida for some random
Some convention or
convention
something.
that
Yeah.
neither of us had heard of.
Yeah, he told
So
us, but I don't remember the name of it. So my apologies to Floridians, I guess, for not shouting out where you can meet John if you're around that area.
I'm
But
assuming it already had, or maybe it goes into the weekend. He's been doing stuff already.
oh, maybe, yeah.
I saw on his Twitter, like he's had panels and stuff. But I
Oh,
think
sure.
he'll be back next week. So
As far as I know, he should be. Yes.
okay,
We'll see. We'll
but
see.
yeah, it's good. Calgary is unreasonably warm for this time of year.
Yeah, Calgary's been weird. It's actually kind of scary. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
global warming is definitely a thing.
yeah. No, that's that. Every time I'm talking to like a family member and they're like, "Oh, it's so nice out." It's like, oh, or they say to me like, "Oh, it must be nice that you're not dealing with super cold this time." I'm like, yeah, but it also means we're like
We're dying.
closer to the water wars and we're gonna die
Yeah.
sooner. Like, so it's not great.
Yeah, it also means we're dying. Smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Um
sure.
yeah, no, unreasonably warm, but yeah, no, I'm chilling. Also super dry. I should also say
Yeah,
I'm on my remote setup. That's probably why my audio for the audio listeners. I probably don't sound as good of quality as back home. But yeah, my
sure.
nose is just totally stuffed. It's so dry here.
It's
What about
so
you? What have you
dry.
been up to the last couple of weeks?
Well, I started feeling better. I kind of threw out. Do you remember earlier this year? I pulled a muscle in my chest and I was like in pain for probably 2 to 3 weeks or whatever. Well, we don't talk like often, but every week I had a little bit of issues for a bit. I pulled that
Okay.
muscle again from
Oh man.
coughing, from being sick, like really bad. So I've been in that kind of pain,
Jeez.
but like it's been fine otherwise.
Along the same lines, and this is how I know I'm getting old. The day that I was coming up, so last Thursday,
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know, like 2 in the morning or something. I was in bed. I rolled over, destroyed my back.
Oh, that's pretty
Like,
bad. Sure.
I don't even like, and less than 12 hours before that, I was doing leg day at the gym, lifting hundreds of pounds on my back, totally fine. I
Yeah.
roll over in bed, back is ruined.
Yeah.
Like, I had not felt that before.
Oh, that's such a bummer. I don't think I've ever had that from like rolling in bed, but I've definitely had that from like getting up from like a low couch or a low chair where I had to like strain a little bit more to like prop myself or something. Like I've definitely had that before. It sucks
Yeah.
so bad.
It was so, yeah, it was crazy. Like, because it's like I do plenty of stretching. I've done that exact motion tons. I don't know what it was.
Weird.
Luckily, my dad, where I'm crashing while I'm up here, he has a hot tub,
Oh,
and I
nice.
just went into that every single day, and that really helped out. So I'm all good now.
Nice. Nice. Well, that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, I was definitely like, wow, yeah, I am in my 30s. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done anything while in Calgary that is worth talking about, or has it been just kind of family time? Or
A lot of family, a lot of friends time. Hoping to have some more friends time. One of my friends took me to a brewery that I think was is pretty cool. Have you been to Cold Garden?
no, I haven't actually even heard of that one.
It's super like decorated. They have like a disco ball gnome on the ceiling. But what's
Oh,
really cool is they're allowed to have dogs indoors.
oh, okay, yep.
So it's super dog friendly. In fact,
Was that
it
that?
smells like a pet store.
That was that little video I saw. I think on your Instagram or something.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
were so many dogs, and what we didn't realize is the day we went, they were having an event where Santa was going to be there,
yeah.
and your dog could take a picture with Santa. So there was a
Cute.
lot of dogs there getting their photo taken with Santa, which was just awesome.
Okay. Okay. I thought maybe you went to like some weird like, yeah, this is bring your dog to like the park day at some like thing or whatever, or like a meeting of dog owners. I didn't realize that was a brewery.
Yeah, it's just a brewery. Yeah, yeah. And I
Awesome.
guess people, get their Christmas card, I guess, for the year with the dog and Santa.
Cool. That's very
So
cool.
yeah, that was pretty great. Yeah, if you're in Calgary, Cold Garden, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it. I'm actually looking it up right now. Okay. Oh yeah, this is pretty far for me. I don't usually go in this. Well, it's actually not that bad. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to make a trip there at some point in the holidays.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about some video games because I've been playing a ton.
Okay.
Because this is the top down perspective where we talk about video games.
Yeah.
Dogs. This is December 21st, almost Christmas. You got any like cool Christmas plans coming up? What are you doing for the big day? You going to Edmonton?
Oh no, I'm working. I'm going to Edmonton the next weekend for New Year's.
Okay, right on.
Yeah,
right
the
on.
New Year's weekend.
I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And Paul, what have you been playing?
So I knew I needed to do a little bit of homework before we do Game of the Year talk. Shout out to Game of the Year surveys live. Just some housekeeping right off the top here.
Thank you.
Just to remind people.
Go ahead. I think you're about to say what I'm about to say.
No, that was it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say when you do it, make sure you read the questions.
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
Read them all the way through.
Just like anecdotally, there was a weird influx of people not understanding that the 2024 Game of the Year means what you anticipate will be one of the biggest games or games of the year, not just whatever game you think you might play that year.
A lot of next year. Yeah, I need to go back and see the wording because the idea is it's a game coming out next year and you're just making like an educated guess.
Yeah.
But you were saying people were being like Splatoon 3 and it's like what?
Yeah, well,
what are you talking about?
Some other people were saying stuff from like 2017 or whatever. And then I was just like, is this getting like a re-release? Like what? I started Googling a bunch of stuff. I'm like, why are so many people doing other games?
Maybe we worded it incorrectly. I'll have to go back and check. But
yeah.
Anyway, hopefully people kind of get the spirit of it going forward. Now that we've kind of said this.
Sure. I've started already tallying stuff just so we're not like blindsided the day of or something, just to get most of it done. It's been interesting this year. There are a lot of really big games that came out. I don't know if you know, so there are a lot of weird, contentious categories right now. So people should get their votes.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's close.
I haven't looked at any of the results, so I'm definitely excited to learn about it as we go.
Yeah, it's been fun though. Just as a reminder. Anyways,
for those curious, so far kind of targeting tentative date the 11th. Not set in stone yet.
Right.
But we know it won't be the 4th. So, and after the 11th, I'm in Europe. So it's like, the 11th is there.
Right, and John's at MagFest, I think, also after the 11th. Like, it might have to actually just be the 11th, or we'll figure something else out if it can't be.
So maybe the 11th, maybe not a Thursday, but who knows? We'll see. But right now, targeting the 11th.
Yeah, yep. So you guys still got time to play games like Dave the Diver, which I hadn't played, even though it'd been recommended to me by a lot of people for a couple months now. I finally picked that up and started playing it. And that game is probably going to bump something off my top 10. Probably.
I think I started this probably a little after whatever the last episode I was on.
So like 3
because I've been playing a ton of it for a while now.
Uh-huh.
In fact, it was whenever I got the Steam Deck OLED, because I was like, I want a nice fancy new game. I want a colorful game for my OLED, so it feels extra special. This is a great game for the OLED because it's so colorful. Tons of, like the whole game just looks like it's glowing. Oh, I picked a good one. I love this game.
Yeah, it's so it's been almost a month for you probably that you've been kind of picking away at it. I would assume-ish 3 weeks at least.
3 weeks-ish or so, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just started 2 nights ago, so I'm only about 5 or 6 hours in. I'm on chapter 2, if that makes any sense for people listening that have played it, kind of where I am.
I'm in chapter 3.
Okay. That game is just extremely chill. Just like, I'm gonna go get a bunch of fish, and I should also work on this other thing. There's so many carrots on a stick for you to do that there's just like infinite stuff that I could be working on.
I was gonna say chill, yeah, but there are so many mechanics in this game. Like,
it is the most
like
mechanics I've ever seen, I think, in one game. It's crazy.
Like, it makes me kind of think of kind of farming simulator kind of games where it's like, there's a whole bunch of things. Do you want to farm? Do you want to go into the mines? Do you want to go romance someone? Like,
there literally is a farm in this game.
Yeah, you get a farm. I just unlocked horse racing. Like, there's still mechanics you haven't seen yet.
Of course,
in chapter 3.
I've heard there's mechanics like all the way to the end, basically introduced, which is insane to me.
It is kind of crazy, and I know it's like, it's an indie game. Then there was the whole like, yeah, but Nexon funded it and stuff. But I'm like, either way, like, this is like such a polished game. There's so much in it.
There's Holy so much. Yeah. And I think what makes that work is that at its very core, the like going in, catching fish, and kind of gradually increasing, like, it's basically like a Terraria or something, only instead of mining copper, I'm like mining fish and getting like bigger, better fish and getting.
But does Terraria have an adjacent thing that's similar to the sushi?
No, so it's that like packed onto it, essentially.
So that's why I think this is closer to Moonlighter. Because Moonlighter, you have you have the dungeon crawling, and then you have the mechanic,
shopkeeping part,
which is the sushi equivalent. And
yeah,
I love Moonlighter, so when I kind of clued into that, I was like, oh hell yes, this is checking a few boxes for me. Absolutely, let's go.
I was getting a little annoyed at first, until I started hiring people. Once I started being able to hire people and kind of have like a crew, man, dinner services were a nightmare before, but like now it's chill. Now it's pretty like, I got my one girl is able to do everything. She can do the drinks, she can serve people, and she's like really friendly, so she's kind of my lead girl. I have another guy that's just kind of there to help out that I think I'm going to can when I get somebody with better stats, so I didn't bother upgrading.
I just got someone through like a side quest. Well, it's not really a side quest because you kind of have to do it, but like a sub story arc where she's like, please hire me, and it's like, oh, you're really good at cooking, hell yeah, but I need to get my whatever their Instagram knockoff is, I need to get it Cooksta. Like 3 more likes so I can get Cooksta, so I can get the gold, so I can hire 2 chefs.
Sure.
I have her waiting.
Yeah, I have 2 chefs currently. I just hired another one with incredible stats that I found on an internet ad or whatever, and upgraded him a little bit. So yeah, like the night service now is super fun. And then of course, as soon as I started really liking that, they're like, hey, you should go night diving. And night diving is a fucking nightmare, and I hate it, but I know I'm going to have to do a bunch of it, so.
Yeah, I think I've only done it like once, and it was like the intro one, so I wasn't in there for very long, and it was kind of tutorial-y. So,
everything fucking hates you at night.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah.
It is a really great game, and like when I talk about like the polish and stuff involved, it's things like the cutscenes.
Yes.
Like, you didn't have to do a cutscene about him like preparing sushi on a mountain peak with his fire hand. It's like you went like there's so many little things where they went above and beyond. I think that's what I really feel about it. Is it just feels like a game that went above and beyond when I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Like for a number of things, hearing it's an indie game. Not a ton of people were talking about it. It was getting, more than a standard indie game, but it wasn't like blowing up the world. Right. And like the price point of it, I think I picked it up for like $15.
Yeah, it was $20 for me, Canadian, or roughly. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like so, and then just seeing how much is in there, like it's pretty nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, it's really, really good, and it is those little quality of life things and like fun thing. Like I think the writing is better than it even has to be. All of this stuff is on top of a really solid foundation too, of just if you had none of that, it would still be a fine like $15 game of you going down and like incrementally getting better stuff and then serving it to people. You didn't need to do all that stuff, but the fact that you did turns it from like a good game to a great or outstanding game, and it's just
Yeah.
I can't believe how many mechanics there are in it. It's fucking
And just
mind-boggling.
yeah, that's another thing is like I was already like pretty like happy as someone who played Moonlighter, who loves Moonlighter. I was pretty happy with just, oh, I'm gonna get some fish.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go and do the sushi. I'm good. You've done it. And then they're just like, no, hold my drink. Another one, another one, another one, another one. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
and all the little mini games that are associated with that stuff too. Yeah, no, it's very cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Very
Yep.
cool. That's kind
Great
of
game.
been the big thing I've been doing.
Okay. Other than that, well, sticking with the fishing theme, I played Dredge's DLC,
Okay.
the
Yep.
Pale Shore. It opens up a new area very south on the map where it's a frozen area.
Okay.
You can like you can break through the ice blocks once you upgrade your ship and stuff like that. And there's a mystery going around with these frozen pirates and stuff like that. So it's about 2, maybe 3 hours long, pretty short. I think it's also only like $3. So
Okay.
I think it's a great deal. I love Dredge.
Yeah. How
Getting back to that was
just an excuse to go back to that seems like it's probably worth the $3.
yeah, absolutely. And then similarly, which I haven't done it yet, but announced at the Game Awards was Dredge themed DLC for Dave the Diver
Yeah.
came out for free. I haven't played that yet. I actually don't know how you get to that because I was just playing today. I should look up how you access that. Maybe you have to like beat the game. That seems odd though, because this game, Dave the Diver, is long. It is a long game, which I was
How
not
long to
expecting.
beat had it at like 30 hours or something for
Yeah,
like close to completionist or main extras. Yeah, it's pretty long.
I have to look up how to get to the Dredge DLC, but that's exciting that those came out at the time that I was playing both those exact games.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited to check out the Dredge DLC. Pretty short, you say? About 2 hours, you were saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
2 or 3 hours. Yeah,
Maybe this weekend then.
depending on how completionist you want to be.
Yep.
Okay, I was doing my own Game of the Year homework.
Yep.
Chants of Sennaar went on sale on Xbox, and I
This,
was like, let's finally go. I've been hearing so much about this. All I know is it's something to do with language, and it is extremely cool.
this is on my list,
Um,
so I need to
yeah,
know.
I played through the whole thing
Okay.
about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, depending on how well you're doing with the puzzles. Near
Okay.
the end of the game, I did look up a couple answers because I was just like, there's situations where it's like, okay, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how you want me to say it, kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
um, Fans of Return of the Oberdin will get a lot out of this in terms
Okay.
of the deduction because it's a lot of like the way it works is you are entering a new world, new to you, where you don't know the language,
Mm-hmm.
and through signs, through kind of process of elimination, you're figuring out, oh, this symbol means open, or this one means closed, or it's like, oh, this is the greeting sign. Like whenever I talk to someone, they always say this symbol first. This must be the greeting. So what'll happen is, much like Return to the Oberdin, is when you've encountered enough new symbols or new language, you'll write down in your book, okay, here's like it'll be like here's 4 drawings that your character will do, and you need to figure out which symbols have you heard will relate to these drawings. And it could be something like a door opening, it could be a symbol of a door and stuff like that, and you're kind of piecing them together through process of elimination.
Right.
You're just kind of walking around these like tiny areas just trying it's all process of eliminations. It's like, okay, well now I'm seeing an actual sign where they're saying like, the mines are this way, so clearly this means mines, but there's a symbol in front of this one, so this must be a special kind of mine because this one has the mine symbol, or what I think is the mine symbol, but another one, and it's like, okay, this is the gold mine, this is the silver mine,
Gotcha.
stuff like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So it's very Return of the Oberdin like, which is great because I love that game.
Yeah.
And then it gets more interesting when there are 5 worlds that you go to, and things will kind of interact back and forth. So it's like, oh, okay, so they talked a little bit to each other. So it's like this word actually means this word in this one. So there's some stuff like that. Like it's really interesting how they play with you learning to the languages and you interacting between the different worlds and the different civilizations and whatnot. Because they're like set up differently, it'll be like, okay, well, they call science folk in this one scientists, but in this world they call science folk alchemists. And
Okay, right.
you'll kind of come to learn things like that, where it's like the language changed, but it kind of, there are words that mean the same thing, but they refer to them differently. They refer to these ones as impures, but over here they refer to them as warriors, stuff like that. So
Almost like
really
dialects or
cool.
something. Like maybe
Yeah,
not as much,
it's
but
really cool. It's a game that I don't think you could take a pause from and come back later,
right.
because you need to just be like, okay, hang on. I know that the double line means plural, but in the other world, they don't. They say the same image twice, the symbol twice to do plural. They don't have an actual word for, and it's you have to. There's a lot you have to put into your head. Um, so I just kind of went through it all, and like pretty much over the weekend. I think I started on Friday, I finished it like Sunday night.
Okay.
Um,
How do, is it pretty good at onboarding you onto how the game works at the beginning? Because
oh yeah,
yeah, okay, that's the only thing with any puzzle game that I always find can make or break it for me. Is like, well, do I feel like I was given the tools knowledge wise to even start this journey?
yeah. The rule will be a bit of like, after you've seen enough symbols, your character will write down a picture in their journal for you to try and fill out, and it becomes a question to you of like, okay, so should I know this info? Like, does that mean I
Right.
know it, or should I continue on? And it's definitely a toss up. Sometimes it's like, oh, you should know this. Other times it's, no, you're not going to really know this, and you could try and just like, much like Oberdin, you could kind of fudge your way through some of those if you had like 2 out of the 3 correct.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You're going to
Okay.
do a lot of that, but sometimes it's like you might not have even found that third symbol, so you could try it out a bit. But so what's really great about that is when you have your list of symbols you've seen, in-game keyboard will pop up, and you can write down what you think it means. You can have like one
Oh.
kind of guess, so that when you go and talk to someone, they'll be saying stuff, and if the text switches to black, you know what it means. If it's gray, it's what you guess it means, and then that can kind of be like, okay, hang on, are they saying tool or weapon? Because I thought it was weapon, but now this person's not really using it in like an attack way, so maybe it's actually tool, and that's another way you're going to deduce these kind of things. It's really cool. Definitely recommend it. I think you're
Nice.
going to like it if you like Return to the Oberdin.
Sick. Okay. Cool.
Okay, and last game I've been playing of is the finals.
Okay. I love the finals. It's one of my favorite shooters.
This came out, I guess, in 1.0 or not beta, like full release at the Game Awards.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's free to play. I downloaded it. So it's Battlefield. Like it's
Kind
got the
of.
destruction from Battlefield.
Yeah. Oh, the destruction. Yes, for sure. That's the thing I like. I just love being able to like. Well, there's like a point up there that the cash drop point or whatever is at the 3rd floor. Let's just take this fucking building down or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
No, it is. So for those who don't know, it's a free to play shooter. 3 teams of 3.
Yeah.
I think the cash drop mode is more interesting than the second one. The second one is just too like kind of team deathmatchy.
Where you get
So
money
it's a
for
lot less.
kills essentially for your
Yeah,
team or
and
whatever.
you do have to bank them, but I just don't think it's as fun as the one with the vault.
I agree. I think the
Yeah,
quote unquote pros like the other one more because of course they do. They like Twitch shooters, so of course.
and they're boring and they just want the same game over and over again, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Um,
Frankly.
so in the good mode, you have to open a vault, so you have to like guard this thing for 30 seconds. Then you have to pick it up and run with it and put it in the bank or whatever. And then you have to guard that for like 3 minutes, and that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because you could have like a good, like, you're covering the exits. You can even like destroy some of the stairways coming up to you so people can't get to you. But then yeah, all of a sudden the floor could just like come up from underneath you, and it's like,
Collapse.
okay, game's
Yeah.
on. Like, um,
Yeah.
I love it when the bank is on one of the kind of like floating structures, and you just like send a rocket up there and just destroy the entire thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Yeah,
I'm trying
no.
to figure out
It's really good.
which class I like most, because I started with the medium,
Yeah.
and I really like the turret because it's
Okay.
so powerful.
Yeah, sure.
Then I played the light, and that grappling hook is so much fun. Holy smokes, I love using that grappling hook.
Yeah, the grappling hook's good.
I think the heavy is my least favorite
The heavy
so
is
far.
definitely the easiest, but it's one of my favorites because the heavy starts with a charge as his ability, and that'll break
Like
just a
go through a
shitload of
wall.
walls. So I like
Yeah,
to like position myself so I'll take out like a line of walls or whatever instead of just one.
yeah. I don't find the heavy that easiest. I think I was doing the best with. I mean, it's kind of unfair. The medium with the turret is kind of unfair because you rack up kills that way. But I think I like the light. I was getting pretty good
Light's
with the
okay.
light and just zipping it around and just taking people out like that. The light's cool. I don't like using the sword.
Sure, yeah.
That's a weird one to use. But yeah, light with the zip line is very enjoyable.
I think what also makes it fun is that there's just a lot of like goofy weaponry and stuff that adds to it. The fact that there's like a goo grenade that'll just like create this like hard barrier in an explosion radius so you can like block doors or holes in stuff or whatever, or even trap people under stuff. The fire physics are good. Like everything about how you can interact with that world is what makes it essentially like a thing that is worth playing, in my opinion.
I think that the battle pass sucks. I think the stuff that you get from unlocking it is not worth it. I did not
Oh, sure.
put out the $10.
Sure.
To be fair though, I feel like a lot of games, their first battle pass is always pretty underwhelming.
Sure. That's fair.
I'm gonna keep my eye on like whatever the like the next season is to see if they have like cooler unlocks and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like the finals. I'm glad that you're having fun with it too. It's a fun time.
I am. Yep. Yep. Okay, that's all we played. Let's talk about some news. And why don't you start us off?
Yeah. So we're gonna just start with the showstopper for news, as it were. Insomniac Games last week, where we're saying we're given a ransom by some hackers, saying that they have 7 days to comply to, I think it was like $2 million or whatever the hackers were asking for, or they were going to release a whole bunch of information that they took from Insomniac Studios PCs or whatever. Right. John and I were speculating, wondering if this is even going to happen. I guess we'll see in 7 days. It happened.
Yep.
A whole lot of really confidential stuff was released, including a whole bunch of stuff, including an alpha build of Wolverine, their next big game that people were excited for, and a roadmap for the next 10 years or something like that of games that were slated or projects that like had been started or whatever.
Right.
We're not going to talk about that stuff in particular because that's kind of shitty, and like that stuff is definitely going to hurt them. There's already been so much dumb discourse on Twitter and socials with stupid gamers just being like, this Wolverine game looks like shit, they're going down or whatever. It's like, you idiots, this thing isn't even set to release for 2 more fucking years, basically. Like, chill.
It reminds me of the GTA 6 leak where people were like, why does this look like dog shit? And it's like, it's like 3 years before it's coming out. What are you talking about?
People are so incredibly fucking stupid.
It is, you always hear developers being like, oh, we're kind of worried about showing it before it's ready to be seen because people could take that poorly. And you hear that and you're just like, no, like we're adults. Like, what are you talking about? We'll take it poorly. We know how this works. And then you get an example like this, and it's like, oh, you people are not adults. You have no idea. You think it's just like wave the magic wand and Spider-Man 2 just materializes. They just take their build of Spider-Man 1 and press the make it look better graphics.
Legit. Like, that's what they think people do, for sure. No, it's crazy.
But stuff like when you see like the Psychonauts 2 documentary where they're like, here's everything. Here's like warts and all. Like, that's just another reason to commend how cool that series is.
Yeah, for sure. So we were saying that like we probably shouldn't just talk about that stuff because that stuff's shitty to talk about and it's unfinished. Things will change, especially now. Probably things will definitely change with some of that stuff, I'm sure, going forward. I guess the only thing I'll bring up in that front is that I was reading on the way home that people that downloaded that Wolverine build that was put on the internet are being tracked and flagged. So those people might be getting lawsuits coming their way if you download. Like, maybe don't touch that thing if you're interested.
I also saw a headline. People are modding it to make it run better.
Yeah, no,
that's kind of funny.
It became a thing where people were starting to collaborate on how to like optimize it. So that's weird and hilarious in its own way, but also you're probably going to get logged and you might have like at the best your IP sending you an email saying, hey, you like doing some bad shit, and at worst maybe sued. So don't touch that thing. Just don't. Okay. There was some information I did want to talk about, though, that was leaked that is more about industry stuff and Insomniac in it.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that this is, I'm going to start with the thing that got me interested in reading a little bit more. A whole list of their lifetime to date sales and profits and all that stuff from Insomniac Games was released. And the thing that was notable in there is that after 10 years, Sunset Overdrive made $567 of profit for them total.
Is this the return on investment chart you're looking at?
No, it's this one, the LTD, lifetime sales.
Oh, okay.
Down here.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong document.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to start with this one because for me, this is kind of what started it. It's on Reset Era. There's like a thread, and the first picture on that link or whatever shows all that stuff.
Like how much it made Insomniac specifically, because
yeah, exactly, how much profit they made of it on
right, because it says like net sales 47 million, but the development cost was 42 million. I guess they're incorporating
this is also after
salaries.
they pay their stock holders and all that stuff. Like the IG share is literally what Insomniac got out of that deal.
That seems insane.
So yeah, that's why we never got Sunset Overdrive 2, because it makes no fiscal sense for them at all to do that thing. So, yeah, that was insane to me. $567 is what they got out of making that game.
Well, I guess it makes, you could say it makes no sense if you're like really profit driven, but if you're just like, can we pay everyone's salary without going in the red? That they did that.
They did, but it was also through a lot of it was bought by Microsoft, right? So like it's through a lot
and I'm sure that's where some of that money came from, right?
And probably where a lot of it went, a lot of their what would have been their profit went to probably Microsoft, honestly. I'm guessing like realistically that share is so low because they got so little back from that deal. That was more of a Microsoft deal for them is what I'm guessing.
I don't even remember, what is Fuse?
Fuse was a shooter that was completely unremarkable, if I remember correctly, back in the PS3.
Yeah, PS3. I barely even recognize this box art.
Yeah. Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, very forgettable, I guess.
Yeah. So that was the thing that kind of got me interested in more stuff. Then I found a list of projects that was released. It was their internal list of everything they've ever worked on, I guess, starting with Disruptor back in the day, and then like a bunch of new stuff that we won't talk about just because people listening might not want the actual spoilers of stuff that might be down the pipeline. So I won't even bother talking about that stuff, except for some canceled stuff that was marked down.
Okay. All right.
So some of that canceled stuff was Resistance 4. So I guess Resistance is probably just dead as an IP for them, at least currently. Sunset Overdrive 2 was canceled. And I believe from what other people were saying, it was they could have made Sunset Overdrive 2 or they were going to, but then they got the Spider-Man deal, and that's where all of their time and effort went to. So they pushed hard on Spider-Man.
What was the PS4 launch title that was a shooter? What am I thinking of?
Resistance.
Not
Fall of Man.
No, PS4.
Oh, PS4.
What am I thinking of? Shadow something. Is it that was? I guess that wasn't Resistance. What am I thinking of?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm gonna look up PS4 launch titles.
Okay.
There's not a ton of them.
Sure. Yeah.
Killzone Shadowfall. Okay, I'm thinking of Killzone. So I was like, I thought there was a fourth Resistance, but did it have a subtitle? Then I was starting to think it was. What was that one called? That was Killzone. Okay.
Gotcha. Sure. And then another canceled game, which sounded kind of interesting to me and is kind of a bummer, was Spider-Man: The Great Web, which was apparently going to be a giant multiplayer GTA Online meets Spider-Man type thing that they were considering working on, which sounds kind of fun and cool, but also a mess. So I guess I understand why they didn't go that way, or why it got canceled.
I don't know how you'd really make a game if like everyone is Spider-Man.
Right. Just like the Spider-Verse, I guess, right? Everybody's a different version of Spider-Man, essentially.
And that would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say like it would get pretty crazy, but then again, GTA Online is just pretty crazy because everyone is just like rocket launcher playing guy.
yeah, no, exactly. Um, I found there was some information about their sales through Sony Studios on Steam. So these are Steam sales stuff here. Horizon Zero Dawn in 2020, when that released, made 3.3 million PC sales, which is double Days Gone, which came out the year after. Not even the full year, about 6 months, 8 months, I guess, after, with 1.7 million. God of War made 2.5 million for them, and there's just like a steady decrease as we go. 2022 Spider-Man made 1.3 million. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves,
That's specifically that's the remaster
the remaster, yes.
of Spider-Man. Yeah, because I was like, how did Spider-Man sell less than Days Gone? But it's the remaster. So okay.
The remaster, yeah.
I'm
Uncharted, like,
shocked that Miles Morales sold so little.
so little. Miles Morales and Uncharted both selling less than 500k. 500k.
Was it
It's
maybe was Miles Morales a PS5 exclusive?
it was.
Maybe that's part of it because it
So
came out when
it is part of
it was
it.
hard to get a console.
It is part of it because Miles Morales, if we look at again, I think it's a lifetime sales to date, was it? No, it's the first link I have here. The
Oh no, in the chat they're saying Miles was PS4 and PS5.
it was PS4 and PS5, and Miles
Oh man,
Morales
that's so small.
was also one of their top selling games of all time, according to their return on investment chart. That made $104 million of profit for them. So
For Insomniac, but I
for
guess
Insomniac,
compared to the other Sony stuff, it didn't do crazy well.
it just didn't do well on Steam. The less than
Oh,
five.
these are Steam sales.
Those are
Oh,
only
okay,
Steam
I see.
sales. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
these are the
okay,
Insomniac
got it,
games released through Sony Studios on Steam specifically.
got
And
it.
and then Sackboy: The Big Adventure made sold 62.9k. So nobody
That's
bought
the
that
little
thing.
smallest one. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody bought that. But yes, inversely, in the on the console, Miles Morales was one of their big hitting things. Their total cost on that was 156 million. Their total revenue was 260 million, so they made 104 million profit on that one. 122% return on investment, which is their biggest by far on anything else that they've created. Other games on here include Spider-Man 2, which was total costs 315 million, total revenue 390 million, so 35% revenue.
Wait, what is Spider-Man 3?
That so I didn't understand this either, which is like I don't know why Spider-Man 3 and Wolverine on here. I'm guessing these are projected costs because they had to put on where this 1.7 billion revenue they spent for their budget. So I'm guessing these are their projected. While following trends, we estimate that we'll make this.
Okay, so they don't think, or I was gonna say they don't think Wolverine's gonna perform as well, but they're also planning to spend a ton more on Wolverine.
Yeah, the big takeaway here is that they are spending way too much money. I think this is just a game industry thing in general. The game industry is spending way too much money to the point where there's almost no way, unless it's like the biggest game of the year, that they're going to make a return on it.
Yeah, I mean we know that.
Unsustainable. Yeah, it's been like this for a long time, and it's super unsustainable. It's just kind of weird seeing it actual and like documents and stuff that they shared around, but it is what it is, I guess. Wow. Also, this is a little weird. So these are talking points, I guess, of Insomniac about the industry in general and specifically Microsoft. They say Microsoft's acquisition of Activision positions it to leapfrog our current pillars. Activision provides incredible strategic value across live service games, scale in mobile and PC storefront, aka Battle.net. In addition, Microsoft is building a mobile gaming store to compete with Apple and Google.
Wait, so
mm-hmm.
You're saying this is a conversation between Insomniac and Sony? Who is actually saying this?
I don't know if this is with Sony. I'm almost wondering if this is an internal document where they're saying like maybe we should like get a little more out of bed with Sony or something.
Oh, like this is them talking to themselves about the acquisition.
I'm wondering. Yeah, this is them kind of like talking about the acquisition just in general and how it might maybe threaten them. Maybe. Um,
I don't know.
this Microsoft is building a mobile gaming store to compete with Apple and Google. I didn't know that. Did we know that? Have they said that they were doing that?
I think there's been like rumors and stuff about that.
Yeah,
And
because
if
like,
anyone
why
was
would
going to do it,
they have King now? So of
like
course,
Microsoft has the ways to do it, right? I mean, they
yeah,
have like their Windows store, just expand that.
yeah. No, that's true. That's true. They have a slide here called Industry Major Shifts and Threats. This was kind of interesting. The Call of Duty threat in 2027. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision for $69 billion could disrupt and threaten console gaming and game subscription markets. Console. Shift from PlayStation and Xbox with timing and in-game differential as the weapons. Subscription. Microsoft's comprehensive ecosystem coupled with exclusivity creates greater dominance. Sony impact. Massive threat to PS Plus, upwards of $1.5 billion of annual revenue threat, gap to fill. 45 million subs times $12 a month times 12 months at times 20% MP third party. So they're saying there's a real good chance that like we might be fucked or Sony might actually get kind of their lunch eaten in the next few years.
Well,
So
and I'm not sure. I don't think you grabbed this as part of this, but one of the things that I saw that came out from this was that Sony was looking into raising prices of their games again. Did you see any of this stuff?
I did. I didn't grab any of that news, but yes, you're right. I did
Yeah.
see that.
So I didn't grab it either. I was just remembering right now, but there was a couple things. They were going to increase the prices of games further, like $80 to 100.
Yep.
And one of the things was possibly like breaking out the next Spider-Man into two parts.
Yep. And
So
charging
that
like
you'd be paying twice,
50 or whatever dollars per part,
and
making
then
it $100.
multiplayer would be another purchase on top of that.
Yes.
And
They're
it's just, and you look at this stuff, and it makes me think of when PlayStation Plus did their big revamp with their tiers to try and make a subscription Game Pass competitor,
yeah.
and they came in at a higher price point with less exclusives, and it
Yeah.
was like, that's just a bad. Why would you do that? And their response is basically like, we're PlayStation,
We can. Yeah.
fuck you, yeah.
That's kind of why I
And
don't
now,
care if they die. Like
and now you're just hearing more of like, you know what? We could get more money out of these people, and it's just time and time. And you hear Jim Ryan being like, "No, we're not going to put first party on PlayStation. These games are worth too much."
yeah.
And then Microsoft's being like, "Everything's on Game Pass," and it's like, holy smokes! Like
Yeah.
Sony they're sitting there being like, "We're number one, and we're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna thank us." And it's like, okay, how many times can you like bite the hand that feeds before
Yeah.
someone finally says like, I guess maybe that's where this 2027 number is. It's like, if PlayStation's going to keep slapping the user for another 5 years, this could now actually be a threat.
Yeah. And that Insomniac's second point on that slide too. Day and date threat. Post-acquisition, Microsoft will put Activision games on Game Pass day and date. Like you said, Game Pass is so good, and now they have the capability to just put Activision games on there. Why wouldn't they?
I mean, I do get it from the other end where it's like Sony does not have the like bank that Microsoft does, so they can't just be like, yeah, we'll just keep losing money on every single one of these just to earn subscribers. Like, and as we see, games are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
So maybe it's unrealistic for what I'm saying, because it's like, if we don't raise the prices, it's going to lead to more layoffs and stuff and blah blah blah. But maybe Sony's kind of stuck, but at the same time, it's just like, it's just not a good look for you. Like, Microsoft's strategy seems to be panning out.
Yeah, it's more consumer friendly. I don't have to have an Xbox to play Xbox stuff because I have a PC.
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy. Leapfrog. Activision provides incredible strategic value across live service games, scale in mobile and PC storefront. Microsoft can supply multi-game subscription 50%, console games 50%, PC 60%. Sony's pillars are already dated and behind the competition. Sony's impact needs to expand. I'm almost wondering now, actually, if this is Insomniac's stockholder, in what they're saying to stockholders or something.
I don't know, because like they're kind of, it almost seems like they're giving advice to
To
Sony
Sony, it might be. Yeah,
of like,
totally.
but so I just don't really understand who's talking to who here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Elusive perfect game subscription is the last point. Premium content, expectation of free, best in class games create unsustainable model. Monthly and incremental subs won't cover investment. Unified mobile PC console experience doesn't exist. Form factor and computer power are way too diverse. Sony Impact premium sales model is the central approach.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just kind of said that.
Yeah, with the whole like them increasing. What so Sony's approach being like, well, we we do the premium sales, so you're going to buy the best thing of PS Plus, and you're gonna pay $100 per game or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't think this is gonna work out for you in the long run if you keep to it. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
Yeah. Like eventually, it's like people are just, I can't afford all these games, and Sony's hoping it's like, well, you'll buy ours because you love ours. Like I don't. Okay, man.
So
I don't know. It's like one of your games gets me like 8 months of Game Pass.
there is that. I did make the tweet that if they make a game that's worth $100, I have no problem paying $100. I honestly have no problem with it. The problem
Sure.
is that so many of their games aren't worth that. I would say there are games that are, but like, man, I don't know.
Well, I mean, either way, it's like, I bet everyone would say that, and then the second half of that sentence becomes, it's like, well, but that's an extra $20 or $30 out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I now can't buy a second game. So people are
Right.
if you look at it like, here's my game budget for the year, it's like it's going to mean less games, or it's going
Yeah.
to mean
Or Game
I
Pass.
don't get the Sony one, but it lets me get, yeah, exactly, like
Yeah.
4 months of Game Pass, blah blah blah, or whatever it is. So it's like the money, people are not getting the same kind of like raises that PlayStation hopes they're getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens. Again, for people listening, there is so much information that was given there. A lot of it are spoilery things for stuff coming up that I didn't want to grab and talk about here just in case. But if you are interested in that stuff, it's a Google and Reddit check away.
And just like, and a quick mention, a bunch of like developer personal data was leaked in this too, and like that's the worst part.
That
Like,
sucks. That's so bad.
they're we're avoiding spoiling some titles so that you can get excited when Jeff Keighley announces, "Hey, guess what? They're making a Spider-Man 3." Oh,
Yeah,
like no
like
shit.
we didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. But the real thing is like, people are probably like scared for a
for sure.
number of reasons, and that's the really shitty part of all this. So
And this is gonna, I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to hurt somebody's bottom line, and that's going to mean more layoffs in an already tumultuous system. So like everything that happened here is really bad for people like you and me on the low end of the totem pole, and the people that like it would affect don't care. They're just gonna fire people and do something new. So no, my heart goes out to them for real. That shit's so bad, and those hackers should be just taken
absolutely
out in the worst possible way, like the GTA 6 hacker, which is the other thing I wanted to bring up, because
this is weird. This was announced today.
This was announced today. So the hacker that did the GTA 6 leak last year, was it? I think it was last year, right?
Last year, or maybe 2 years ago. It was a while ago. I don't fully remember.
It was a while ago, yeah. The 18-year-old who was a key member in the international game Lapsus $, or whatever, which is the hacker group that stole that
cybercrime game, Lapsus.
Yeah. So he was taken to court by Rockstar for what he did, and he was deemed mentally unfit to basically be sentenced. So he is sentenced to hospitalization indefinitely until further notice.
Yeah, it sounds like he has autism. There was bouts of violence and stuff, so he's in hospital jail now.
And like some real issues. He doesn't give a shit about any of this. He's literally said, if I get out, I'm going to hack them again and release more information. Like, yeah, he has issues.
All right, dude.
So that just to bring up more
All I'm
hacker
saying
news.
is there's a picture in this article, this BBC article, there's a picture of him holding a big fish.
There
And
is.
I think dudes taking photos of themselves holding fishes are always kind of sus. So
It's true. I can't even. Oh my god, that reminds me. I listened to a comedian or
what?
something literally just
Okay.
like this last couple weeks, where there was a joke or gag about like, if you ever see a dude on like a Tinder or something holding a fish,
Yeah.
just swipe the other way. Like that's a
Red
bad
flag.
dude. Yeah, that's a
Yep.
red flag.
There you go.
Oh, that's funny. In other shitty news, James McCaffrey, the best known as Max Payne,
Yeah.
or oh my god, Alex Casey recently, I guess, the voice actor, has lost a battle with cancer at the age of 65 this week. Real shame.
That's a bummer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to see, because it seems like he was on a ton of stuff. Nothing I really watched though. Law and Order,
Yeah.
whatever. Blue
Yeah.
Bloods.
For us, it's Max Payne and Alex Casey specifically this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a bummer.
Yeah.
Just to bring it down a little bit, figured I would bring.
In a happier news though, this next one's pretty happy.
Yeah, in better news, Bobby Kotick's finally fucking off. December 29th will be his last day at Activision Blizzard. He is officially stepping down.
Yeah, which we knew that was basically coming.
Yep.
He had said he was like going to stay on to the end of the year. This guy has made more money than he needs to live for like multiple lifetimes, so he's just going to like chill out and do whatever he wants. But maybe we'll finally get to stop thinking about Bobby Kotick.
I hope so. The only time I want to think about him next is in the January leak where they're going to talk about everybody that was on Epstein's Island, and people are pretty sure Kotick was one of those people. So we might hear from him again soon.
I would just be shocked if this guy gets a job anywir else.
Oh, he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, but
right,
yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
All right, these last few stories I put here. Did you guys talk about Fortnite? The stuff they added last week.
Yeah, that's all John and I played last week were the Fortnite things.
Okay, so I did check out, unsurprisingly, the Fortnite Festival.
Yeah.
Because
we thought that was really good.
I tried that out. I was like, I had to try it, and when that came out, PDP. Did you guys talk about this at all?
No, I don't know what this is. Oh yes,
PDP tweeted.
Yeah,
that they're doing guitar controllers
for this, right? Well, or like new
for this.
Yeah.
Well, what else would they be used for? They're not like. I mean, maybe they'll work on Rock Band 4 because it's the same console. I don't know.
Probably.
But this is wild. So
yeah.
So my thoughts are: I was not expecting Rock Band 5 to come from Fortnite.
Right.
I guess it makes sense because there's no way they were going to make a Rock Band 5.
Well, we were saying even last week, it clicked to me. It's like, oh yeah, Fortnite already has like all the rights to these songs for their in-game like things that they sell. Why wouldn't they just put them all in a mode that you could play them?
Well, and they own Harmonix now, right? So this is clearly what Harmonix has been doing.
Yeah.
So if this is what it takes to get a Rock Band 5, like I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It will be weird that I have to like load this up just to play Rock Band. Like I don't know. I'm curious to see where this kind of goes in terms of how like fully fledged this gets.
You can install it
very excited for
on
like
PC. I don't know about console, but it's a different install if you want it to be.
Yeah, I think there are separate launchers on console as well.
Yeah.
I think I heard that. I just had Fortnite downloaded, so I just booted into that.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, in that scenario, you need to kind of like walk around the environment a bit, and it's like those controllers did have a D-pad on them, but I'm not going to want to do any extensive like actual character movement. So I wonder if they kind of build in a menu system to make it more like Rock Band, like I just want to play the songs. There's also like there's no way to fail. It's a pretty bare bones Rock Band experience.
Yeah.
There's only like 4 buttons as well, so like what are we even doing here, guys? I don't know. I'm very curious.
It's more on expert. It's the full 5.
Oh, is it? Okay, I was playing. I think I played up to hard. So what's the 5th button then? So if you're using a controller,
it
was. Isn't it left, right, X, and B on
and
like the Xbox controller?
Is the other one.
Oh, they add in triangle. Okay.
It feels bad though with that. I just want to. There might be a hack. I've seen people on TikTok playing that mode with their like Rock Band controller, so there might be like a hack to do it.
Yeah, I have seen that too with like Joy to Key, but you're not strumming, so
Oh,
it's like yeah, you don't have to strum, right? If those people don't have to strum because they're just pressing the
yeah.
button.
Okay, that
So that
sucks.
makes me wonder. It's like, what exactly does this controller do? Because like, if you don't need to strum, you're just pressing the buttons. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's extremely lame.
yeah. No, I want to
So
strum. That's true.
that's what I'm saying. It's like how fully fledged do they make this? And it's like, hey, if anyone could make a Rock Band 5, it's Fortnite. They have enough money to make whatever they want.
And
So it's
harmonics.
like,
Yeah, it's both of them for sure.
yeah, like yeah, I'm curious is the word I am. So we'll see what happens. I know people are excited about getting like new controllers to use on the PC.
Are you gonna buy
Um,
another guitar? Is that what's like? I was saying this to John. Like, am I going to buy another fucking guitar? I have like two back here.
oh yeah, I have back at like I just bought a 361 earlier
Yeah,
this year, right? I went down that whole thing. So
yeah,
I have like three guitars back in California because I have the Guitar Hero Live
right,
one as
yeah.
well. Like my mom still nags me every time she visits, why is the drum kit still set up here and taking up so much space? Your apartment's so small.
Sure, yeah,
So it's like, yeah, it's like I don't know. Every now and then, I want to play some Rock Band drums. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna. If I take them down, they're never going up. So they have to stay up.
totally. No, I agree.
I don't know. Yeah. So I'm curious. Like, I have the most up to date guitar currently. Will I be able to just use that? Will this new guitar be different in some way? Like, and then you just know harmonics is like, hey, if you want to make new controllers, it's gonna be a big thing. But PDP's on board. Like,
Yeah,
are these gonna be showing up in WalMarts again? Like, I don't. What is this?
like this is 2024 we're talking about. What the fuck is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I'm in Calgary right now, and I went by the old game store that John and I used to work at. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. The one in
It's
Westbrook.
gone. Yeah.
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 Wow.
So I don't. I'm very curious. Very curious.
Yeah. Weird.
Okay, this next one. Some of these stories are more than 1 week old, but I wasn't here, and I'm sure you guys didn't talk about it.
Sure.
Um.
I didn't see this at all.
So did you watch the Wells Fargo TMT summit?
No.
Okay.
Can
Which I'm
honestly
sure
say
you're
I
very
didn't.
bummed that you missed it.
Yeah, I
Um.
couldn't get time off for it. So,
Yeah, exactly. So I guess this is a quote out of Xbox CFO Tim Stewart.
okay.
The I'll just read the whole quote for you.
Mhm.
Models like Africa or India, Southeast Asia, many places that aren't console first, you can say, "Hey, do you want to watch 30 seconds of an ad, and then get 2 hours of game streaming?" That's kind of the main
Okay.
part of it. So they're talking about a possible free tier for Game Pass, and they mentioned the streaming here, so maybe they're talking just specifically with like XCloud or whatever. But I pose the question to you: would you do that?
Me no, because I have a full-time job and disposable income. Me at who got an Xbox or whatever for my birthday or Christmas, and I'm 14 years old. Fuck yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like you're figuring out ways to like just run all the ads while I'm at school, and I'll just come back and just bank all that.
Yeah, I mean, 30 seconds of ad. Right now, as it is, I'm playing this weird version of Solitaire at work because it loads quicker than I guess the Xbox, the Microsoft one. And there is an ad every like 5 games or so that's about 20 seconds, and I just let it play. Like, I don't give a fuck because I'm not gonna
You just
pay.
take your headphones out and close your eyes so that they don't actually win.
Yeah, I just mute it and then like do other work or whatever, and then go back to Solitaire.
See, but then what you do is you pair this with that old Sony patent where the camera's filming you, and to stop the
Oh,
McDonald's commercial, you have to stand up and shout McDonald's.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, this is a great idea. Like, yeah, for sure.
Like, well, I guess why not? Like, if as long as you don't take away the like pay for it one, like
Right.
sure, if the money makes sense for you guys, then I guess that's fine. Like, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I have the income, so I probably won't need this. But for kids, yeah, I guess go for it.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's a good idea.
All right, this one I quickly just watched this video. IGN put this video together. So there's a dog that's going to partake in Summer Games Done Quick, or whatever the next Games Done Quick is.
Awesome. AGDQ, I believe, is the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut Butter
Mm-hmm.
is the name of the dog. And what was the name of the game? Gyromite? I guess the dog is going to take over what Rob the Robot would have plans to be doing.
Okay. Yeah.
The guy said it took 9 months to train the dog with like a modified Xbox fighting game stick, so that it has bigger pads for the dog to press the button on. And I guess
so cute.
you can look forward to seeing Peanut Butter do a speed run at Awesome Games Done Quick.
That's sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm curious. So there's no footage of the dog actually doing it, other than like there's some footage of him training the dog, so you don't get to see the dog actually play the game yet. So I guess you have to wait for Games Done Quick to do that one. All right, this last one, another Sony story. Sony has filed a patent for changing difficulty level as you play, and I saw a lot of people talking about this.
Oh, sure, yeah. So I'm guessing what they're filing is a proprietary algorithm or something that they developed, because this has existed in games for a while now. My entry into it is in Resident Evil speedruns particularly. They're always talking about DA, or difficulty adjustment. So they will do specific things where they'll miss shots on purpose in some spots, or like waste ammo, or do some dumb shit to make that number go down so that they won't get like one shot by a zombie where they have to take a hit or something. So like this is definitely a thing that has just existed, where the better you play, the more fucked up like the computer is going to be
Part
against
of the game
you.
gets, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're probably right. It's probably their own proprietary thing. I'm kind of two minds in this. There is the part of me where it's like, in like on paper, this sounds like it would present to you the ideal difficulty level for every player, right?
Yep.
But the other hand of that is like sometimes in Final Fantasy, it's nice to get over leveled and then just like destroy a section of the game because you did all the side quests beforehand.
Sure. I think difficulty adjustment in general for casual gaming audiences will always be good, because like you said, it'll like meet you at your level and always provide you enough of a difficulty, or like enough of some leeway or whatever, that you can get through something and still feel like you've accomplished something. It is for niche cases like you said, or speed runs or whatever, where this is a completely different game and people hate it.
Yeah, I'm assuming this will be like an option when you're picking your difficulty. Do you want like easy, medium, hard, or do you want difficulty adjust, where it's like you don't even have to think about it, it's going to be the same difficulty level the entire time, what we think it could be. I'm curious how that comes into play, like how much the developer will get to say kind of what that difficulty adjustment means, or like could you like mess around with it, like if before the final boss of a game, go get yourself killed 5 times in a row, and then the game's final boss is a cakewalk.
You can definitely do that
like,
already in games that use this. Yeah, stuff like that.
yeah, so I'm curious kind of how this will actually like play out. I guess in whatever the first Sony game that takes advantage of this.
The way that it should be utilized, in my opinion, is that normal and easy mode should both use difficulty adjustment, and to varying degrees on easy mode, maybe make it way more lax, or like way more stringent on the player or whatever. So
like that's like a lower ceiling, like it can't make it too hard.
And then normal should always have it, and then hard mode should never ever have it. That should be like, this is the way the game is going to fuck you every time, and it's not going to change or whatever. I think that's how it should be implemented, to give people kind of like a mode at least where there's a baseline of it will always be like this, so you can kind of learn the game at its highest level where it should be.
Well, that's why I think it should almost be more like outside of the standard modes, so that you can't change, so that you like can't mess with it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
an assist,
I don't know,
or something, assistant mode.
Yeah, kind of basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for news. Let's do some questions. If you'd like to send a question in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. and you can sound just like Legend of Chrono, who writes, how much does FOMO influence the games you purchase and when?
40,
I'm gonna say
35,
for me,
40%.
I'm gonna say quite a bit higher than that for me. But I listen to a lot of game podcasts. I follow a lot of game developers and game journalists on Twitter, so they are constantly talking about the hot new thing, and I like playing it along with them. I like playing the games and then hearing them people talk about the games and then being able to talk to my friends about these games, blah blah blah. So it hits me quite a bit.
Sure. This podcast does it the worst for me, probably. But like even then,
So like one of us talking about a game gets you wanting to play it?
no, feeling like I should play a game so I can talk about it or whatever.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
Not like, oh, I need to talk about Cocoon because I still haven't played that. Not in that way.
That's a good game. You should play Cocoon. Didn't that win Indie Game of the Year?
What's that?
Didn't that win Indie Game of the Year?
It did. Yeah, it's on my list. I'll get to it. That's a short one, so I kind of put it off.
It is.
But like if a new Resident Evil comes out, I know I'm gonna have to talk about it. I have people that actually will like DM or ask me about it, so I feel like I do have to play it or whatever.
Well, that's like your favorite series, so the FOMO is gonna be the most for that.
Like, also it's weird because I don't have FOMO necessarily for it because I know I'm gonna get it, right? Because it's my favorite series, so it's weird. It's kind of a chicken and egg scenario with that, or the games like that specifically.
Sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it influences me so much in the way that like I feel like I need to play it with other people. I like to find cool shit and then share it with people though. So like that part kind of influences me where I want to come on here and say, "Hey, I found this like awesome new indie game or whatever I think people should play." So it is FOMO but kind of in a different way, I think.
Got it.
Rasserman writes, "Is there any long-running TV/movie series that you'd like to get a remake/remasterization of that hasn't been announced yet? This is assuming the studio can take its time so that no crunch happens to meet a deadline."
So I'm very slowly going and showing my girlfriend Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball Z was very influential when I was growing up.
Okay, yep.
And it's definitely not as good as I remember it is, which of course not, but it is still like important. And I see the influence of Dragon Ball Z in a lot more modern anime. And she's getting a lot of more references now. It's like, okay, so in My Hero, when they're going like this and like the aura levels and their hair gets spicy, it's because Dragon Ball Z did this. And Dragon Ball Z walked so that this could run. So I would kind of love a remake of that where it was like better. But then there's Dragon Ball Super, which is kind of like modern Dragon Ball Z. So I don't know. But I think they could do something cool with a remake of Dragon Ball Z. Like an actual remake, like I almost want like a Final Fantasy VII remake one where they're changing like a lot of stuff.
All of the things I would say that I would want have been remade, and I haven't watched all of them. So like I haven't seen new Spider-Man cartoons in a long time. I haven't seen new Ninja Turtle stuff except for the movie this year. Like, so that's me just being out of touch, I guess, because those exist. One of the things, though, is that I really love when series that I've wanted to get into do kind of a truncated version or something. Like the One Piece live action was perfect for me. It's like, yes, give me the idea of what this thing is in a bite-sized thing to see if I want more of it like this.
Well, I think the genesis of this question was that the anime is getting an anime remake.
Right.
Did you hear about this?
So I'm excited about that because now that
I was going to ask, are you excited about that?
Yeah. I've had my taste. I'm like, so that is obviously very truncated. That's a very short version of like all of those events. So I would like to see kind of a remake, maybe do that again, but like closer to the original anime or manga and maybe take a little more time with it or something.
I think and I was saying this to my girlfriend, I think she's in this ballpark. It's people who liked the live action one. They liked what was going on there. They're not going to watch 800 episodes of One Piece anime.
There's no way. No.
So the new anime, it's like, well, but it's like, this thing gets a lot weirder. The cartoon is a lot more cartoony.
Yeah.
so they're like you should get excited that they're kind of restarting the anime because it's probably exactly what you want.
Right. No, that's exactly what I want. So I'm very excited for it, for sure.
Suku writes, Genshin has a new character named Gaming, and that just tickles me. What are some unintentionally funny names you've encountered in video games?
Unintentionally?
I'm just
Die Hard
and I'm
Man
just
is
going
pretty
to.
intentional, but that's pretty fucking stupid. Kojima in general.
The thing
has
is
some...
they're all going to be intentional, right?
Yes.
Anyways, I'm going to look up Ace Attorney characters real quick because that's the best series for this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I
And
think of
now
some.
they're giving me the ones with like real names, so I need to get some actual. Where are the silly ones? How come the chat isn't telling me all of them? I know they're always talking about them.
Yeah.
Ellie the Killer. There's one of them.
Man, I can't remember any like really funny ones.
Winston Payne. That's a good one.
Okay.
Wendy Olbag. Lot of heart. Okay, well, you just trust me. All the Phoenix Wright ones are silly.
Yeah. Oh my god, I like all I can I'm just stuck in Kojima verse stuff, just like stupid ass I get not Sniper Wolf, but what were the like Laughing Octopus and just the stupid Metal Gear characters or whatever, the bikini girls and robots. All of Kojima's names are pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, Die Hardman obviously is ridiculous.
Guybrush Threepwood is pretty funny. But like again, these are all
Guybrush
intentional.
Threepwood. That one has such. I like the mouthfeel on Guybrush Threepwood.
Yeah,
like, it's just kind of fun to say.
it's the Threepwood.
Like, it's just difficult enough, but it's just Threepwood. Guybrush Threepwood
feels good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, unintentional. I don't know. Dead writes, what will the next Madden game be called, and what platforms will it release on?
I don't understand this. Isn't it just Madden 24?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is it because Madden died? Was there news that we didn't know about with like Madden changing? I actually don't know either. Why this is.
Oh, I think it's because so I guess the next one would be Madden 25, and I guess there was a Madden 25.
Oh, wait, what?
So people are. I'm
Why
just
did
kind of because someone asked like on the Madden subreddit, what's the next one going to be called? And someone says sharing a name with a game that came out over a decade ago isn't going to cause much confusion as people think it will. And then people are saying like, yeah, just look at like Modern Warfare 2.
Because we got Madden 25 in 2012, 2013. Is that like Madden 25 years anniversary type thing? Like, why was it Madden 25 back then?
That must be what it was. Yeah, because
right?
Madden did. Yeah, it must be. I don't know. Who you at? Why would I know the answer to that?
Yeah, I don't know. So what will the next Madden game be called and what platforms? It'll probably release on PlayStation and Xbox, and it'll be called Madden 25 with a comma or apostrophe or whatever to indicate that it's a year.
Yeah, it'll be Madden NFL 25. Like, there's plenty of games that have the same name. Need for Speed Most Wanted.
I mean, this year alone, Dead Space 2023 in parentheses beside it, Resident Evil 4.
Oh, so you think this will be like Madden 25.
I mean, maybe. It'll be Madden 25, parentheses 2024.
Oh, 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Good.
Yeah, maybe.
Phantom Aegis writes, Ahoy TDP crew, are there any games that enhance or hinder your enjoyment because of how well you know the subject about it? If not, have there been any games that made you want to learn more about a subject?
Anytime there is an airport simulator, warehouse simulator, any of that stuff, I am uber critical about how you can move around and do stuff in them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And
So
anytime in
like
a video game,
Wilmot's Warehouse, did that do anything to you?
no, that's more just like tapping into that almost ADHD. Like I need everything in its proper place.
Yeah. And that game rocks. That game's so good.
It's so good. Also conversely, anytime there is an area with forklifts, I notice every time there's an OSHA violation of the forklifts being up or like not properly stowed, like all the time. And it's become a meme if I stream a game now where like me and another dude who also does warehousing or whatever primarily will call that shit out all the time.
Okay. I don't think there's anything I know enough like this. Like I'm trying to think if there's like a video editing. There is a game that there is video editing involved, and I actually haven't played it, but I've seen it getting played.
Okay.
When I was on like at PAX or something, so I didn't look at it close enough. But what am I gonna say? Like, well, actually, there's a button in Premiere that would make this easier. Like what?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if there's anything
What
like
about
that,
like,
or I'm sure there's been something where I've looked it up. Nothing's coming to mind right now, but I'm sure that's been the case.
oh, sure. I'm trying to think of like, what about Quidditch or something? Is there a Quidditch game?
I think some of the old Harry Potter games had Quidditch in there, but keep in mind, like Harry Potter Quidditch and real life Quidditch are significantly different. I don't know
Yeah, fair.
if you knew that. So yeah.
I didn't know that, but now I do. I learned today. Okay. We're gonna end it off on a poem that VGC Kenny wrote in. I read this previously to see like why it was so long, and there's no question associated. So this I moved it to the end because I thought it would be a nice.
There's a question in there. You can even see the question mark.
I guess. All right.
You have to read the whole thing.
No, I'll read the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
'Twas a podcast before Christmas, with host 4 or 3, all in the same city, that being Calgary. To show a good time, or at least not be bored, they read out a question from the Discord. What game, it asked, has no sequel, but should? In a bubble, fantastic, but release conditions weren't good. Would it need a remake first before an attempt at a second, or could they just make a sequel now, do you reckon? Then suddenly Christmas, and under the tree a mysterious package. The tag says from Eni. You motherfucker. You open it, your dream sequel. It's a match. Then you say aloud, all right, what's the catch? No catch, Gabe responds. This is just a gift. I know that I usually try to grift, but it's the holiday season. You've nothing to fear. I can be nice at least once a year. Assured, you play the game without fright. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
I want to say in relation to this, it may have gotten lost in on the Discord in the general chat. Someone commissioned somebody to make a drawing of Gabriel Eni.
Oh God. Okay.
So there is an image there. I can't remember if it was pinned or not. I'm sure someone has a link to it if other people want to see it again. But that, thank you for whoever.
I'll go back and see if I can find it
possibility.
and pin it, because yeah, we should probably keep that handy.
Okay,
for
so the question is, what game doesn't have a sequel but we want it to have a sequel, right?
Oh yeah, the answer is Asura's Wrath.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was gonna think of something else, but Asura's Wrath definitely deserves a sequel.
Yeah.
Then there's some that are just like, I love them so much, I don't want them to touch it, and it's like Ghost Trick.
Okay.
It's like it has such a nice bow at the end of it.
Sure.
So, seems like in the chat, Suku commissioned Hypercoal. I don't think that's to make Gabriel Eni. So thank you, Suku. But yeah, you're right. It's Asura's Wrath. A Quiet Man sequel. But I worry you would get into territory of like Deadly Premonition 2, where it's like, see, you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. This is just a bad game.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right.
If you'd like to send a question in next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com. And that's my dad, who just showed up on camera. I don't know why he would come here. And I did. We're saying topdownperspective@gmail.com is the email address, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
It's Dave the Diver, of course.
Yeah, mine's. Oh no,
You
Chants of
can
Sennaar.
you
I'm
can
gonna
pick
give it
two.
this. I think this week, yeah, it would be Chants of Sennaar because I played that this week, and the previous weeks was Day of the Diver.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna throw
All
out
right,
reminder.
we will
Game of
talk.
the Year survey. Go go go. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yes, do the Game of the Year survey. Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully all of us will see you guys next week and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Bye bye.